Hello, everybody, and welcome to the relay station. I almost said around the verse because apparently I work at CIG. Sorry for the early show. Sorry for the late show. Wait, yeah, I guess that's how it works. With me this week is Shiver Bathory.
Hello.
Wave Shiver. Stormy Winters. And Heremus, whose name is messed up. Oh my. Thank you for joining us at this early hour. I know for some of you it's painfully early. I know it is for me.
Well, that's for us too.
Yeah. All right. I agree, Daddy Cash. Nice closet, Heremus. Actually, I'm not sure. No, that might be nice closet, Stormy. There's closets in multiple shots here. It's good.
Well, I always throw a blanket over mine, just because sometimes I just throw clothes back up there without folding them.
Keeps the skeletons in.
Well, that too. But so I like to wear my jeans more than once, but I don't always like to fold them and put them back up there. It's just kind of throw them on top.
Of course. All right, so this week was another fairly quiet week. ATV went from a whopping 5 minutes to a whopping 8 minutes. Actually, it wasn't even 5 minutes a week before, so. But we got to see more of the adorable Robert's daughter, so that was pretty cute. What did you think of this week, Shiver?
It's quiet week. It's post-patch week. They're focusing on 3.2.1 on the PTU. So at the moment, I'm not surprised that there's not much coming out. I mean, you've got Calling All Devs, which is a great place for people to ask questions. If you don't know, Calling All Devs is something you should be watching still. But yeah, it's quiet. I understand it. Well, I'm happy to wait, but I can understand as a subscriber as well. I'm happy to wait, but I can understand how someone else might be like, "Where the fuck is everything?"
That's fair. Yeah, especially anyone who is coming back out of hibernation or is just joining the project. It's pretty quiet right now. Heremus, what did you think of the week?
I skimmed over Calling All the Devs just a bit. Was the ATV, yeah, short, and I feel a little bit unorganized. They do a lot of picture. When I cut it, I just I can't get a clean cut of things, because when they start moving pictures with people, then yeah, I have to put the people with it. It's weird. Yeah, and yeah. RTV was funny yesterday. I loved it. I got a good vibe from it. So
We did get pretty entertaining representation of disco in the game. So that was good.
Was that what they were doing yesterday for the creature creation? I read that,
Yeah.
and it came on just as I was leaving for work, so of course I couldn't watch.
They basically, so if you've noticed lately, Disco is all freshly shaven and lost a lot of weight. Well, they took the previous version of Disco Lando with the huge bushy beard, and Jeremiah Lee designed a character around him with a prosthetic leg. And
A pirate, right?
probably.
Well, I hope it's a pirate.
Nehkara.
All right, Stormy, how did you like this week?
I absolutely followed nothing. My whole entire week was reading Sunjammer's comments about ATV. That's like the highlight of my week. Every time we get together for a transcript.
Sounds
He
good
said
to me.
something about 3.2 features, so
Yay! Yeah, it's just been really quiet. But we might as well go straight into show and tell, and show some of the beautiful videos that Heremus created from around the verse. All right. here we go.
At least
See,
I
I
could
come
do
on
something.
uninformed, and then I get to see everything
That's right.
on the podcast today. There you go.
We're sorry.
I like this little clip. It's cool. I like doing the whole pew 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 thing.
Yeah, it was really Star Wars-y with
Definitely.
I felt like the models came across as just a bit stiff, but then it's going to, because there's not many moving parts on the current Cutlass, is there? So
Mhm.
it just felt a little stiff, I suppose.
Do those engines not rotate anymore?
Nope.
Nope.
Ah.
It's a
See,
much.
the last time I
Generally, or-
saw them was the last time we
Oh,
played a
wow.
Commander with CS back before 2.6 when they still did the.
And I think the Freelancer used to do that, but it doesn't anymore.
Yeah. They made the Cutlass much larger, but it does not have its fun engines anymore.
Well, just watching it,
still
it
looks
honestly
nice.
looks like it flies heavier.
Oh, it definitely does. It's significantly larger. Okay. After that beautiful gift.
That actually is a small thing that I want CIG to pay attention to. Is I miss the clunkiness of some ships. The Cutlass is all very sleek and smooth. I want a bit more chunky clunkiness. I want RoboCop from the 80s sort of movement, not the remake RoboCop. You know,
want
like when you
chunky
get in the
clunky, hey?
Gladiator. Yeah, it feels to me. It just feels a bit more powerful when something's all whirring and gears and things.
That's fair.
I want more whirs and more whirly bits and geary bits.
I think I said this last week, but I think Shiver just wants Blade Runner in space
I wouldn't be opposed to this.
in Star Citizen.
All right, so next one up is mining with sound bites. So we might hear the sound on this one. We'll see.
yeah, was first seen in not
Oh, yes, it should be. There. Nope, it's not playing sound. Okay. We're good.
yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is now.
Redesigning that impact sound
You might
to
have
add
to
more layers
turn the
to
stream
sound.
on
So when
to
the player
hear
gets
the
closer
sound
to
for
the
it.
rock, it brings in a more high-end sound, which is a
That
more
should be-
realistic way
This
to
is a
design
really
the
cool
sound.
clip. They were just talking about how they're still improving the sound for mining and how the different sounds depending on how close you are to the rock you're trying to mine. Pretty neat.
That
Also,
rock
I
is
like
in
it.
the middle of the air.
Yep, that's Delamar. I think the gravity's very low. I think that's what's.
I
going
like
on
that
there.
they put higher frequencies come to shine when you go nearer
Redesigning that
and
impact sound is to add
lower
more layers to the
frequencies
sound. So
That
when the
rumble,
player gets
yeah.
closer to the
Stay-
rock, it brings in a more
stay when
high-end
you
sound,
are far away.
which is a more
That's
realistic way to design the
cool
sound.
thing.
They do a great job with the sound. They really do.
All right.
Just played Serious Sam recently and the sound is so bad. So bad.
All right. So next up is energy management. They're talking about putting a little bit more focus on this. They've added some UI items to tell you when your power's low. And for example, see here you can you can see that ship warns you when you lower the weapons power. This is gonna be a very important thing long term in the game. I think it'll take a while before it really gets important.
So, in what
Yeah.
application would they use that then? Like, just practically, in terms of why would you need to adjust that?
Very good example would be like if you're in a prospector and you start getting attacked, you can put all your power to your shields because you're probably not going to be able to fight back.
Oh, more like
Um,
rearranging where it goes rather
yeah.
than just turning it up and down in general. Okay.
Yeah, so you're basically
So-
overcharging one system and lowering the power on another system.
Turning it down as well also lowers your EM signature, or will lower your EM signature. I think that's actually in.
It is, yeah. That's a good point as well. If you want to stealth, you can turn the power down on all your systems. And in fact, you could even turn you could turn your weapons off, and you could turn your shields off, and that would lower your signal and make you harder to see. But it's cool that's coming along as well. I expect that will continue to evolve right up until live. Really, it's one of those fiddly little things. And
I
quantum
think
travel.
everything's in a state of evolution until the
Of
very
course.
end.
Oh, gotta love the Eclipse, eh? Such a pretty ship. So this was another look at quantum, specifically jumping together. Does this make anyone else want to have an Eclipse?
Yes.
It's like a stealth
Only for
bomber.
one reason, though, just because I want it.
You want to
so
bomb
that I
Shiver?
can have a little. That too, but
Pardon me.
no, just because it's so pretty seeing all the particles come off the lines the way they do.
Mm-hmm. I agree entirely.
I'm all about very small details.
All
This is the
right.
game for you.
Oh, you're gonna give me a colored purple palette? I'll take it.
All right. Actually, Heremus made me have to tell me which one this is. I don't remember exactly.
These are the struts of the ship.
Oh
rearranged.
yeah, they fixed the quality of
Oh.
life fix for the struts. So if
So
you
you
watch
can
in
see
the
more.
if you watch the first skip, there's a big strut across the middle of the view, and then they removed it. There you go. That's after. They listen to the fans. It's always nice.
The other one is UI work.
And onwards to some animation improvements. Slow work in progress for shopkeepers. I like the one on the right. She looks mad. It's great.
Well, I just think that's every shopkeeper. Anyone who works in customer service, that smile's not real.
She's just angry that at some point someone's going to try and put a space bowl on her head and nick all her stuff.
I work with people every day at work, like customers and stuff like that, and it's just they're not all nice, and you just have to smile and pretend that you're happy and that you want them there. Yeah, exactly, just like that.
All right. And the Origin 890 jump work in progress.
I think it's huge.
Gigantic space yacht is coming along.
What was it? The length of 600 eyes? Round about 3.5?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, but
I
love what Chris said. He's like, if you think the 600i is too luxurious and too wide open, well, we got a ship for you. This
I
thing's
hear yacht, and I
ridiculous.
think it just needs a giant set of oars.
It can. They've already mentioned that it can.
Go on water?
Float. Yeah, it can go on water.
In case of a crash landing,
No.
use your origin as a flotation device.
Well, yes, but I think the idea is that you can like cruise through space and then like fly down on a planet and cruise across the ocean because it's ridiculous. It's lovely.
Would be fun if it can dive someday.
I was
That
just
would
gonna
be
say, I want a
amazing.
submarine.
Someday. And more 890 jump. Gorgeousness. You gotta love the ships with plants in them.
Actually, it's 600i touring.
Oh, is
interior.
this the 600i Touring? Sorry, thank you. Although they look very similar. Both,
Yeah,
both
it's
of
the same design. So
exactly same style. Gorgeous ship though, and yeah, I got to run around the 600i. That thing is that thing's prettier than the Enterprise. It's insane.
Oh, that's saying
Side
something
note.
for you.
Side note, I can't. I think it was. I saw it on Reddit, and I can't remember where the guy sourced it from, so I haven't put it on any official documents. But when the Hammerhead releases in 3.3, the people who have like anything Hammerhead or bigger will be getting a Hammerhead loner instead of like, if I have a Polaris, so I get a Starfarer.
That makes
But
sense.
I thought that was good information.
Yeah, that is really good information, and that makes sense because a lot of people have been waiting for a big ship to fly around, and if the Hammerhead's ready in 3.3, then they might as well get to fly their big ship. Although you're going to need to be heavily, actively recruiting for crew members. All right.
I don't think that's going to be a problem really, though. If you've got a Hammerhead, it's just like, I spawned a Hammerhead. Who wants to crew it? Form an orderly queue.
You mean Quay?
Sorry, yeah, a Quay.
in honor of our missing
David's not even
host.
here.
Yeah,
Aw.
exactly. All right, and now we're on to the Banu Defender interior. This
Yeah.
is, I love the Banu ships. I can't wait to see these ships in the game. They're neat.
Yeah, was just a small segment. I hope we could see more than interior, and maybe there was an outside pic as well, but I didn't put it in.
But hopefully over time we see more and more of these ships. I know there's a lot of people who are absolutely scrambling for the Banu Merchantman, which will be a beast of a ship when it finally gets in. And
They did have a sale for that already, right?
the Merchantman?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. A couple different ones.
Probably way too rich. That's why I didn't even. It was not even a blip on my radar. It was too expensive.
It's pretty
more
expensive.
likely.
Although the people who
Yeah.
got it originally got it for a pretty good price because it's doubled in size. So these
Definitely. Actually, I was wondering why it was so small in the beginning.
Mhm.
Even then, I was thinking, wow, this is really small for a ship which can house a market. So,
it's gotten a lot bigger.
So you're saying the people at the beginning got it for 50% off?
So basically, yeah, they did. I think it went from $150 to like $350. So yeah, I'm not 100%.
That's
it has to
bizarre.
be defended.
Bizarre.
No.
It's too early for a Shiv.
Fine.
I really like this. They're working on the brand new hangars for the ones that are actually going to be in the PU, and they're looking amazing. This is the, what do they call it, utilitarian hangar or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they look awesome. Sorry.
Brown.
So what are the round things then?
Those
just containers or?
those are for development. They show the different
Oh,
the
okay.
different materials that they're using in the hangar. And the reason they're round is to show how the light bounces off different type parts of the surface.
I thought they were space hoppers. Do you not call them space hoppers?
Moving along.
Space hoppers.
And our last one for this week is a few props that they've put into the game. I can't wait till things look like this. It's gonna be great.
Wow. Sorry.
I want this big head thingy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, they're the bobbleheads. Yes, absolutely.
No, I just couldn't get over how messy that guy's room is.
You know what? You know, one of the reasons I love this is it reminds me so much of The Expanse. Like, totally, 100%.
Used lived rooms.
And that guy has a closet that's messy too.
Exactly. He also doesn't like to fold all of his clothes.
There you go.
Hey, nice mug.
Thank you.
In ATV, he told that he went from desk to desk to with CIG stuffs, desk placeholders thingies to plug some of
That's awesome.
the lid.
All right. So, hopefully we have lots of questions. Everyone should be asking many questions because we're going to go straight into questions after this.
All 33 of you, come on.
Hey, that's
Ooh.
pretty good. I'm actually stunned we have that many viewers. Thank you, viewers, for viewing.
See, you're lucky because you even almost missed it because 2 of us didn't even get up to like literally 5 seconds before start time.
Pretty much.
And one of them was hosting.
What, you? Anyway.
I might be able to stream video if we can do a 1x1 pixel.
Even me was just awake 1 hour before because I'm a little bit sick. So
No.
I saw a Reddit thread, and this guy listed his PC specs. It's like, yeah, mine's better than that. And then he listed his internet. He said, my internet's pretty shitty, and it was twice the speed of mine. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Shiver just throws me dirty looks whenever I tell him my internet speed these days.
Well,
So.
who was it the other day that was it Fastcart that got a super great new internet connection, and she was just like, "Don't talk to me, don't talk to me."
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hopefully in a couple of years, Shiver can get Starlink, and then it'll all be fixed. Oh boy. Hopefully you're warming up your vocal cords there, Sarah. You're gonna sing, apparently.
Oh no, why am I singing?
We only have 3 questions. Okay.
I can make up questions.
Can you?
Yeah.
All right. First question this week from Captain Penis is what will determine where we spawn when the game goes live? So who knows, it could change, but to the best of my knowledge, basically the way it works is you choose where you begin the game. You'll get a choice of a few different worlds, and that will be sort of your home base. After that, if you die somewhere, you will respawn at the last respawn location that you visited. So it has to be a place with a hospital or some medical facility, and you'll just spawn back there.
Died.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do you think that sort of answers the question, or do you guys have more to contribute to that?
Well, I had a question to the question.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so if you die, are they still going? They're looking for like wear and tear on bodies, right? Like that's always been the thing.
Yeah.
So if you get shot, what happens if you like fall off a cliff?
I think it really depends, because they did say that there are some deaths that are permadeath, like instant permadeath, but they were talking like getting your head blown off. So.
Well, you can't come back from that though.
No, you sure can. If you fall off a cliff, I think it really depends on how like intact your body is.
It's nothing but a bag of jelly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, it depends. Maybe there's really, really low gravity on that world, so falling off the cliff isn't a big deal.
I guess you would hope.
Oh.
It's not the fall that kills you, right? It's the splat at the end.
Exactly. However,
I really love the wear and tear.
If you permadeath, that would be a whole long involved process, because then you need to create a new character. That new character inherits most of the stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they were talking about like a part of like 20% of the reputation. So that's a longer process than just a quick respawn.
Well, for the sake of argument, let's say you die because you got your arm sheared off and you bled out. Okay, well that's not really something. Well, in real life you would permanently die from that, but I'd assume that if you came back, then you wouldn't have an arm anymore, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
But you would also not get a replacement watch.
Yeah, you get a prosthetic device.
I'd have to give up my Rolex.
That'd be really funny if they're like, okay, you lost your Mobi-Glass. You're screwed. You can't. No.
I can't live without
No more
it.
Mobi-Glass.
It has all my phone numbers in it.
So
but that's like today, though. I don't know anybody's phone number. If I had to call you, I'd be like, okay, here I sit.
the cool thing with that too is, so if you lose a limb, a limb gets ruined, you'll basically be given the option of a regenerated organic limb, or you can get a prosthetic limb. A lot of times the prosthetic limbs in Star Citizen will have special properties.
I hope it's like altered carbon. That was
would
cool.
be awesome.
Did you see that?
I saw parts of it. I need to watch all of
No,
it.
one of the characters, she loses the use of one arm and they replace it, and the whole entire process. She had they had a choice of which kind of arm they wanted to give her, and I was like, that's like shopping. That's really cool. And her new arm was stronger, better than the organic real one that she had when she was born. And I was like,
She could
that's
do-
so cool.
Because of that, she could do much better fatalities.
I've heard so many people saying that in Star Citizen they're just going to purposefully lose both arms and both legs and get them all like replaced with
Robo person. No,
Exactly.
the only thing that's real is the core of your body.
Exactly. All right. Shiver McShiver Face asks, "Where is the bot?" Well, Eris kidnapped the bot, and they're both hiding out in northern Canada.
The bot left
Yeah.
when he did. They're never coming back.
Yeah, that's
You have to pay a
what
ransom.
kidnap means.
You're stuck with us forever.
Forever. Sorry. Next question is from Shivy McShivy Face.
He's asking a lot of questions.
Who is the most tired? I think I can probably give that one to Stormy, who slept the least. Or maybe Heremus, who's sick. Hey, and I didn't sleep well either. Shiver's the only one who's awake, I think.
I slept 6 hours.
Woo!
It's good for me.
That's exciting.
12 or something.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Rudy got 4 hours of sleep in 3 days. I think, okay, well, that does trump. That's more than, or less than I've gotten, so.
I had that yesterday.
Oh.
Heremus asks, what was explained about level difficulty with persons and stuff in Calling All Devs this week? Shiver, this is your question.
Shiver can't remember.
Oh, that. Oh, God. All right. So, well, after I deciphered the question, then because the hammerhead's coming in 3.3, people asked whether or not missions are going to scale up or down in difficulty from here on in. So basically, you know, can I take my hammerhead into a mission that was meant for someone to do it solo in Dragonfly? Yeah, you can. But the mission won't scale up. You're going to have exactly the same missions, same enemies as the person who in the Dragonfly goes. What they're doing instead is adding more missions that are harder, that in theory, because I know some of you lot are crazy, you wouldn't be able to do either solo or in a small group of friends. Basically, you're going to get overwhelmed if you're not in a hammerhead, is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
But it does give the option for those crazy folks to actually do those missions with like 5 Hornets or something like that. And I think that's a pretty cool choice, you know? Especially at
And
this
then you
point
can
when you've got
double the
nothing to
reward.
lose. Exactly. It goes back to the greater risk, greater reward philosophy.
I think that's a good way to go. They were talking about how they did actually do some scaling in like the previous patches, and it was very frustrating for players because they could never like gather enough players to make an encounter easy because it just scaled all the time, and you ended up with giant, extremely difficult encounters. Heremus says, Hammerhead got hammered? And this kind of came up in our in our little get together before the stream went live. So the Hammerhead looked like it was getting pretty close to completion, and then this week they added a ton of tasks to it. So it actually went down in completion percentage by 51%. So,
Is there a release date for that one?
Hammerhead?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be out in 3.3, so that's end of September.
Which also means maybe not.
I'd be willing to put money on it personally that it does make it.
I think it's going to make it. They've been working on it pretty hard for a while.
I always like to take dates as tentative because they have pushed things before, so
Totally.
it's another reason why I don't keep up with things like constantly because otherwise I'd probably be one of those that's like, screw that, I want my refund.
You know, there's a good chance that something gets pushed out of 3.3. It's a gigantic patch. But I don't think the Hammerhead's going to be what it is. They've been working on it really hard. But yeah, it went down to 18% complete from like 67% complete or something, 69% complete.
Well, I know one person that would be super excited.
Who's that?
Ghost 404.
Mm-hmm.
He loves
Don't blame
that
him.
ship.
And on the super exciting side of things, there was only for people who've been following the project and know how important this is, but there was a bunch of progress this week on various tasks related to object container streaming. Asynchronous background spawning went up by 35% in completion. Background spawning went up by 6%. But the cool thing is, of the component parts of object container streaming, all of them are over 72% complete. So they're getting close with those. And then the main part of object container streaming, which I think unites all of those different components, it has now started development and is 13% complete. So that was pretty exciting. They also made some progress on performance optimization for 3.3 already. And the Connie Phoenix got some progress.
Hey.
The super fancy one with the hot tub.
Because every ship needs a hot tub. Screw those ones that need a toilet.
Well, it has a toilet too. And if certain people were here, I'm sure they would argue that you could use the hot tub as a toilet. But
yeah. If it has hot tubs, does it mean we have time?
No.
Sorry.
No. It's a hot tub.
I know
but
that was flat, but yeah.
It was a hot tub, but it's not a hot tub time machine. Oh my.
Well, who needs a shower if you have a hot tub?
No.
It just takes more room.
You know, you might be just in the mood for a quick wash rather than sat in the bath or something.
See, because your hot tub takes up all the room, you're gonna end up with like one of those really ugly setups like they have in those campers where you've got like the shower over top of the toilet with the tiny little sink in front.
No,
Like
I don't know how the new one's going to be, but it's compartmentalized. The showers are basically for the actual crew, whereas the hot tub is in the living quarters where everyone who's going to have fun is.
They basically put the hot tub in the middle of the ship. They're just like, here you go, have fun.
I don't know. I feel like it's just random.
It was random. It was
and
random.
Here's our hot tub.
It was random in the first Connie Phoenix. Now they're actually trying to put some fun into it.
I just want to know what's going to happen with no gravity, or if you are on a planet with gravity and you suddenly shoot down. How are they going to cope with that?
I can't wait for water to just like flood all around your ship. It's gonna be great.
So, Pappy Boynton had a good point. He said the hot tub is in the floor. If the floor came over it as the cover,
hey, there you go.
That's more utilitarian.
Totally.
It sinks in and out.
I'd be for that, because then you don't have this big ugly hot tub taking up room.
Hot tubs aren't ugly. Anyway.
They can be. It
Um,
can be.
similar to
Can't
that.
jump in them in real life, then they are.
Oh, here.
See, but that could be like the fastest train ever. Just shoot all the water out into space and then just fill up at the next stop.
Yeah, perfect. Similar to the Hammerhead getting hammered, Hurston and the rest stop both saw similar things happen where they added a bunch of tasks. I think this is just their, after 3.2 went live, they took a closer look at what they had to do for these things and added some tasks to, actually get to completion. So Hurston went down by 21% in completion. Rest stops went down by 11%, but Lorville went up by 4%. So
When you say
Wow.
rest stops, are you talking about like the truck stop?
yeah, it's this
Or-
small version of the truck stop. So there'll be actually Chris Roberts seems very excited about this. Once those are in, you'll start to see tons of space stations in the game. Lots of these little rest stops all over the place.
I'm curious if it means or indicates maybe that there is more functionality up station ahead.
Sorry, we lost you there for a second, Heremus. What was that?
Oh, yeah. I'm wondering if this means or indicates that there is more functionality coming up for these rest stops and for Hammerhead and
Yeah, I think so. Probably, yeah. More well-rounded, and also I think a lot of it is just they were kind of working on them before, but it wasn't a major focus. But then once 3.2 went live, they sort of look at what they have to do to get 3.3 done, and that ends up adding a lot of things, I think.
Random question. Do you think we'll ever run into quarantine situations on space stations?
Definitely. Now, I mean, there's obviously gameplay implications for quarantining a player because that's not a lot of fun. But
Well, not so much a player, but just making stations inaccessible to players that might need them. So not so much, hey, you're on a space station, it's just been quarantined, but
mhm.
more of you're approaching one, you necessarily need to have like a fuel up, everything like that. And it's like, sorry, we have an outbreak of some kind of horrible, contagious bug on here. You don't want to come here.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll do that, and then that will sort of force you into the situation where you have to send out a service beacon for help. Be like, I need fuel. I was going to refuel here, but they have, space herpes.
Be those crotch spiders again.
Star Citizen's famous crotch
Shiveritis?
spiders. Shiveritis, nice.
That's what Carbide said. I'm like, I
that's
would
great.
hate to know what that all entails.
Shiveritis, right, means it takes you about 5 days to send out a surface beacon that for everyone else that's normal would be about 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Well, I
Just because your internet
the
speed's
medical
so slow.
language means inflammation of something. I would just not want to know
Inflammation
what
of your
that means.
inflammation of your shiver.
Okay.
All right, next question is from Rudy, who asks, if you were forced to execute one member of the relay in Star Citizen to save the rest, who would it be? Dolvac.
Well, I wanted the one who writes the question into the name field.
I only laughed because you said Dovak, and I was going to say Dovak. I'm like, no, I can't. I was going to be polite and be like, I can't pick. I have to be a polite Canadian. Be like, they're all very important, all of them.
Not me.
I might have, Ruti. I might have. Jimmy.
So next question is from Curious George. So my next question for them is, how are you writing? Anyway, What sci-fi shows were your favorites in the past? Are you watching any new ones right now, sci-fi or otherwise? Shiver, start it off.
Oh Christ! Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Star Trek TNG, absolute favorite. Lost in Space, the originals and the new one. 12 Monkeys. Oh Christ! Fifth Element. Does that count or is that?
I'll go with that.
Yeah. Uh, Expanse. Oh God, there's loads
The
more,
Expanse
but
would be a new
everyone
one.
else probably watches them.
The Expanse would be a new one that you're watching.
Yeah, newish, I suppose. Oh yeah, Battlestar Galactica. Thank you.
The
Most.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, was it the original or the new reboot?
Yes.
Has anyone ever seen
Yes.
the original?
I haven't actually.
Oh,
Roger. No, that was Star Wars. By your command. I always get those two confused.
The original is campy, but it's a lot of fun.
All right, Stormy.
Trying to think, what have I watched in the past? Stargate SG-1, that was kind of my entry into the whole entire sci-fi. Atlantis, Stargate Universe, Farscape, Sanctuary. I'm just trying to think,
You got
what
lots.
else have I watched?
Star Trek.
Firefly, Star Trek TNG, Star Trek Voyager. I never did watch Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
I caught the odd one.
Because she wants to break my heart. That's all.
Enterprise. I just finished Star Trek Discovery. We watch The Expanse with Eric there, so we do that every few weeks. That's a good one. I watched the new Lost in Space, and yet Battlestar Galactica. I watched the original and the new one. And I'm just Altered Carbon. That was a great one too. So it's kind of countless to say, but it's always the originals that they like. Stargate has not really aged. Like it holds up well to today.
Heremus.
Yeah. So my favorite first say would be Cowboy Bebop. Actually, I love that one.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, my wireless LAN is or my Wi-Fi is well. Cowboy Bebop universe. I love that one for all the different places, planets, wars, and stuff within. Then for the people and such, I would love some Ghost in the Shell. So I watched The Expanse. I love it. Wonderful. Also, I think what got me into sci-fi was maybe Spaceballs.
That's a
Awesome.
classic.
Awesome.
Yeah, Star Wars and Spaceballs, but were definitely the first sci-fis I saw. I liked Enterprise, but I'm not full on it. What I love also, yeah, Alternate Carbon. I started just recently. I have. It looks promising, definitely.
It's very good.
All right, and for me, I basically grew up with Star Trek: The Next Generation. Watched it with my my whole family. So it's obviously a favorite. I think I've seen the whole series probably 8 times, somewhere in there.
And it's Shiver approved.
It is Shiver approved. Feel similarly about DS9. I watched it. I've watched the whole series multiple times. I watched it all through high school, and I remember actually Star Trek Deep Space Nine used to be on the Space Channel every night at 2 in the morning. And when I was in school, I would stay up every night to watch it at 2 in the morning.
Who needs school anyway?
Exactly. Who needs sleep? And then when I got up in the mornings, I would watch the old Lost in Space, which I quite loved. I haven't watched the new one, but it's very high up on my list. Other ones, Firefly is huge. I absolutely love Firefly. As with most people, I didn't get introduced to it till after it was off TV. but it's amazing. I also wanted to mention, because it wasn't mentioned before, the new Doctor Who. So, since they rebooted it.
I'm not caught up, but there's some series I like over others.
Oh, totally. But I do quite like Doctor Who. I'm not caught up either. I'm several seasons behind, but I still love it.
David Tennant's my favorite Doctor ever.
I think a lot of people can say that. Battlestar Galactica was very good. Sanctuary was very good.
See, and most people
and,
probably wouldn't know what Sanctuary is.
No,
It's a
probably
very
not. It's a
small
Canadian show. So no one really knows about it except for Canadians.
See, I think you didn't even know about it till after I
Nope.
watched it, and I was like, "Are you gonna like it?" And you ended up really liking it. So
Yeah, I did.
I'd recommend it.
It's really funny. I definitely recommend it, but it's really funny. You can tell that they actually, after it's like the first season, they finally got some money for special effects. Because in the first season, it's like, oh boy. And then after that, it's fine.
That's like most TV shows, though. They kind of give you minimum budget to start to see if it's actually even going to take off. And then after that, it's like, yes, we have some success here. So here, we'll open it up a little more.
And
Space Above and Beyond was bloody good. Do you remember that one?
I don't. I was never
I've
into
never
it.
heard of it.
Bloody old.
But I also have never seen, like, I know a lot of people love Red Dwarf too, and I never really watched it. So
No, I've never seen that either.
But I was also a big Stargate fan. I have to.
Stargate's amazing.
I've never seen any of Stargate. I should probably fix that someday.
SG-1 was my favorite, and Atlantis, but Continuum I couldn't hop on.
Lots of people didn't like Universe, but I thought it was an edgy take on it. It was very short-lived. It was only 2 seasons.
Actually, I have another pick that hasn't been brought up. Well, first of all, first thing I'm going to mention is also The Expanse. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. In terms of modern sci-fi, it's pretty much as good as it gets.
One to go.
Amazing show.
And the creator's quite a fan of Star Citizen as well.
He definitely is. Yeah, his view is basically that the Star Citizen universe is just the same universe as The Expanse, but 800 years later, or something like that, 600, 800, something like that. But the one I was going to mention that hasn't been mentioned, recently I've been watching The 100, which I quite like. It is pretty sci-fi-ish.
See, I've been holding off because I'm reading the books and I want to finish the books before I watch the show, so I haven't dived into it yet.
Have you seen the other 99?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Someone
what about
mentioned
Hitchhikers?
Babylon 5. I've only seen the first season of Babylon 5. I did like it, but it's very scarce to find around here, so it's hard to get a hold of.
Hitchhikers is on.
And I need to watch Altered Carbon. I've only watched a tiny bit of it. Yeah, The 100 though it's a good show. Still ongoing actually. I think it's in its sixth season, maybe 5th or 6th season. Very enjoyable show. Not super hard sci-fi. But it's still
like the 100 you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's loose. Well, they start in space. Does that count?
The idea of that show, for those who don't know, is basically that the Earth is destroyed by nuclear war. The only people left are those who were in orbit at the time. And so there were a bunch of like multinational space stations, and they actually brought them all together and welded them all together to make one giant space station. And that's the beginning of the show. And it's 100 years after the bombs fell. Anyway.
And the
go ahead.
Ship is failing. That's all
Yes.
that's all you really need to know, and then it goes from there.
Next question is from one of my favorite usernames, Christians in Space, the musical. Might those utilitarian habitation rooms be able to be customized with oh my god, this question's enormous. Just a moment.
Okay, can we part it out?
No, I'm gonna read the whole thing. Might those
I'll
utilitarian
probably forget the first half. Okay, go.
Might those utilitarian habitation rooms be able to be customized with flair due to being larger than the habs on, say, Olisar? Or perhaps they would the general aesthetics, or perhaps would the general aesthetics be customizable? The clothes tossed about just caught my eye. I'm not some dirty piece of filth who just shits on the floor. I own a Dyson and a Roomba, and even my temporary living conditions on whatever planet I live on need to reflect this. And yes, I equate clothes on the floor with piles of shit. Love you, Space Pope. Okay.
Oh, okay. For a minute there, I'm like, your Roomba picks up your poop. That's all. That's literally what went through my mind when. Okay, and then you clarified later. And
Oh my. Yes. That's my
What was the
answer there.
first bit of the question?
They're basically asking if you can, if one of those spaces is your room, if you can actually customize the flair or like the way the room is decorated, so that it's
you
not
mean
a
like
total.
move the couch and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's not a total disaster like the one that we saw in the concept art.
Yeah, surely.
We'll see, but maybe.
Yeah.
I
And
feel
which
like
CIG
they want.
you ask.
Yeah. I feel like they want some reality too. So I feel like they're not going to have everything clean and neat. Like Grim Hex, for example, it's down dirty, it's broken, it's aged. So not everything's going to be clean. You know, I could, go visit Shiver's apartment. It could be sparkly clean. Or I could go to Eric's and he might have dropped his coat on the floor as he came in. Or like, I feel like there's going to be like, it's not going to be everything perfect.
Yeah,
But what could CIG introduce to these habs to make you want one rather than just live on your ship free?
Not charge me for it?
Hey, guess what? We currently have 42 viewers. Hold that.
Everybody woke up.
But you have a Mobiglass company which is very clean on the other side. So you have one and the other. So they go in both rooms at some point. But in the beginning, I believe, was Wingman's Hangar time. They planned to say, we will try to make it as customizable as so that you have your own room and you can do stuff in it, put stuff in it, and put stuff out of it. And we see it a lot with the hangar, where you can put things in. I hope it will continue, and we will have our small own room in our hangar.
I feel like it's going to be to a point because there's only so many attachment points they're going to have for like coat hangers and bookshelves and everything like that, right?
Well,
so I
it
feel
depends.
Like there's going to be, yeah.
It really depends.
Like, hey, I found a couch in the alley. I'm going to take it home. Well, where are you going to put it? You have 3
In my
couches
fish
already.
tank.
There you go. Well, fish need somewhere to sit, obviously.
Obviously.
I'm going to put all my fish on coat hangers.
Okay, folks, we need at least a couple more questions because I can't sing. So
I had a comment. Bamchow put something in about being a house flipper. How, like, I had never even considered that in Star Citizen. Go up to someone and be like, what do you want to do in Star Citizen? I want to flip houses. Like, okay.
well,
But
Profitable.
well, you could. I mean, it's not house flipping, but you could buy pieces of land and then prospect them and then sell them for more once you find out all the rich minerals that are on them.
Oh,
True.
I just had, okay, totally off topic. Big segue. Someone mentioned Blade Runner in the chat. I read a piece of news this week that the original Blade Runner house that was filmed in the 1982 show went up for sale in LA for $23 million.
Oh boy.
Go check it out because I was looking at the pictures and it reminds me so much of the movie. It's amazing. Only 23 million.
Wow. Only 23 million. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pocket change, really.
I'm still thinking, what the hell is going to pull you to having a habitation room on a station as opposed to just living on your ship? Why would anyone?
Space hookers.
Not everyone has a big ship.
890 jump.
Ah, that's a good point. Damn it. Well, let's see.
What's going to pull? Eric, what would pull you off your ship and have you say, I am going to buy a room on this planet because?
It would have to be some kind of benefit. Or, your character wears down over time because you are spending all your time on a spaceship. You may be spending time on a planet is better for your character.
Recycled air is bad for your lungs.
Maybe that. That's a good idea.
You can hoard
You can't
stuff,
smoke
maybe.
on your ship or it'll blow up.
Although, the number of
on mine.
the number of planets that actually are going to have real atmospheres that you can breathe are probably not very many. But actually, interestingly, hey, random factoid, Crusader has a breathable atmosphere, which is weird because it's a gas giant. But that's a cool little piece of lore.
There's a lot of lore, like the planets and stuff like that. The lore makers do a really good job of it. I
They
haven't
do.
caught up at all. I used to transcribe it. It was usually 20 minutes long. It would take me like 3 days. It was frightening.
Been there. I way back in the day, one of the first things I ever transcribed was one of the holiday streams.
Oh, I remember this.
And it was 4.5 hours long, and Tony Zurvek had a 20-minute long spiel during it. It took me longer to do Tony Zurvek's 20 minutes of super condensed thought process than it did the entire rest of the 4.5 hours.
He's so hard to transcribe because he changes his mind so much. He talks so fast, and it's just even at half speed, you're just like,
yeah.
It's like that cat meme where the cat's just pounding on the keyboard.
Exactly. Sorry, Shiver, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
Bam Chow's brought in a good point that customization and personalization is pretty indispensable. It's not going to pull me off my ship, but I could see that bringing in a lot of people. But it's not going to be like the land rush of Second Life sort of. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that's the thing is most of the things that sell in games are add-ons like outfits and color palettes and gun customization and things that you can make it yours. I'd splash purple on everything. But I don't know if they'd have a purple palette in Star Citizen.
I agree, Fastcar.
Purple palette,
you do need to make a Stormy meme.
I'm not as funny as David. David memes and Shiver memes are better.
Well, I disagree. Anyway, I think that actually hits on a point that's important, is that if you're talking specifically about why you would want land at all, I think that's down to resources, resources for mining, areas for farming, and there are I wouldn't say lots of people. There are people who are already pondering whether they can spend the entire game just sitting on their farm on some random moon somewhere, farming space beets or something.
Gonna be an asteroid shower today. Gonna be one tomorrow.
There's every day.
I can just see Shiver there sitting on his porch with his giant anti-aircraft gun, just waiting.
And his pipe.
And a space banjo on my knee.
Oh man.
I'll come visit.
Boy, you're in the wrong planet.
All right, so Fastcard asks, did anyone get a ticket or two during the second go-around of the Citizen Con ticket sale?
No, I am unfortunately not going, and neither is Shiver, so we are staying land-based where we are.
Hey, you guys can run relay while we're off gallivanting. Enjoy.
Fuck.
Heremus, you coming across the pond?
No. It's pretty fucking expensive. So I can't afford it, unfortunately. And I most probably will host it Barcelona somewhere.
Well, but that's the thing is I don't have to come across the pond, and it's still too expensive for me. So
You could always take like a horse and carriage and just like
that would
head
I'd
south.
have to leave like now.
Now, yeah. Sleepy Brybase asks, which biome are you most excited for on Hurston? Anything in particular you would like to see landscape-wise?
You'll have to remind me.
So
I'm
Hurston,
not updated on Hurston.
Hurston's one of the new planets, and it is a trash heap for the most part. It's giant industrial world in Stanton. So like we've seen the trash biome, which is basically just garbage everywhere. We've seen some biomes where there's a little bit of life. We've seen some of the like huge mining areas where there's the huge mining vehicles like roaming around between open pits. It's not a very nice place. In terms of the one I'm most excited for, it would probably be the trash biome. The amount of detail they're putting in looks amazing. And what would I personally like to see landscape wise? I would love to see like a ship graveyard where they, someone scrapped a whole bunch of ships and there's just like rotting hulls of ships just as far as the eye can see. That'd be so cool. And what about you guys?
I want them in space also.
Any preferences for you, Shiver?
I better not say anything, to be honest.
Okay. Heremus.
Hurston had some really nice. It looked a little bit like beach bars, actually. Once in ATV they showed it, and I'm excited to see that. But ship graveyards, I'm all for it, in space and on Hurston and everywhere. So.
Bless you.
Thank you. And Sarah, have you had a chance to Google Hurston a little bit?
I have not, but
Okay.
all I from first impression, the way you explain it, all I can think is like back in the Wild West when they were giving out land for free, saying, "Come homestead here, we'll give you a plot of land for free." So you get everybody who has no money, and they just all flock to the planet because they want their own little piece of Hurston, and it's like you literally get kind of the bottom of the bottom.
You get the backwater area with all the sewage running through the valley. Yeah, great.
Has anybody here seen the Jetsons movie?
Yeah,
the
which one?
Jetsons movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Jetsons meet the Flintstones.
No, the one where they go out to George gets turned into like the manager of some sprocket place. Anyway,
George
Mr.
Jetson is
Space-
forced to uproot his family when Mr. Spacey promotes him to take charge of a new factory on a distant planet. Released
anyway.
in 1990.
Tristan, the whole
Jetson!
entire thing reminds me when Mr. Spacey takes the cheapest transport out to see George because he's so cheap, and he gets stuck between these really fat aliens who eat too many donuts, and that's kind of what it reminds me of when you're talking about, oh, it's just a pile of garbage.
That's an amazing amount of foreshadowing on the Hanna-Barbera cartoons part there. It's just what it's like to fly now.
Oh man.
Wow.
I hate to say it, but it's so true because there's been times that I'll be on a plane and I want to sit near the front, so I'll pick the middle seat, and all I can hope is I don't end up between two 500-pound guys on each side of me.
Oh, it's getting worse now. Did you hear about that Chinese flight? The co-pilot wanted to smoke. Well, he wanted to go on his vape. So he turned the air conditioning off and induced hypoxia in everyone, and they dropped 6,000 feet.
Oh, wow.
And there's another one that happened very recent with Ryanair.
Wow.
Who, what was it? They dropped something like 8,000 feet, and people were bleeding out of their ears. And
that's not a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Oh no, they don't care. And then they dropped them off at Germany, even though they're supposed to be going to Croatia. They brought in 100 McDonald's cheeseburgers for 185 people.
Surely not everyone is hungry. Come on.
Five of you have to share. Well, maybe 5 of them were babies. Who knows?
No, it was 100 for 185 people. So it's like you each get like 60% of a
3/5
cheese.
of a burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll cut them in pieces for you.
80 vegans.
dear.
Oh man.
But Ryanair is also the airline that wanted to allow standing room only.
That's right.
Yeah, I was like, what?
And yeah, no.
Okay, to be
SleazeJet want
fair,
to charge you for the toilet.
that would be unfortunate.
It would be very unfortunate.
To be fair, on a small hop, like 45 minutes or an hour, I can see able-bodied people being able to stand through it, but not like seniors and people with babies and
That's not really
Yeah.
the issue. The issue is if the plane crashes, you're screwed.
no, you just make sure you're between 500-pound people.
Yeah, totally. And their argument for that was, oh, everyone dies in plane crashes anyway.
No,
Which
not
isn't true at all. That's what they
No.
said. The company's like, oh, people just all die in plane crashes. It doesn't matter. It's like,
And sorry, Fast Cut. I also meant people with disabilities. They wouldn't be able to stand. So
that's very fair. All right. Well, we're coming up on the end of the show this week. One of the things I wanted to mention is that it looks like it's probably going to be a little while, but I'm very curious to see what 3.6 is going to be when it gets added to the schedule. Any predictions from Shiver for 3.6?
I'm hoping for expanded multi-crew functionality. Those consoles are actually going to be properly linked in. You're going to be able to do all sorts of gubbins with them, and maybe even some sort of remote control link with your Mobiglass.
Cool. Heremus.
3.6. That's difficult. I want a lot of mission givers and a lot of until then. Way through there. The rest is
And Stormy, any deep desires for 3.6, which is that would be like June of 2019.
3.6 stuff.
Oh, well, that would be amazing.
I have nothing because I don't even know what's coming into 3.2. So it's one of these things. If CS was here, I could be like, okay, what do you think's going to come around the corner next year? But he's not here, so it's kind of one of those things where I just play it by ear, and every patch that comes in, you see footage for new
Crouch
stuff.
spiders.
Well,
Gotta
I
love
prefer
those
that
crouch
not be
spiders.
No, let's leave those. We need a vaccination for those.
They're pretty
3.6
big.
is so far away. I want 3.3. I want to see that happening. That's
Yeah.
very intense feeling in me. But 3.6, I have no at all at now.
That's a long way out. It feels like a long way. That's almost a year.
It is, yeah.
And
That's almost
And
too far to think ahead.
3.3 looks major now to me with all this object and such. So
It's going
all
to be huge.
fingers
Yeah.
there.
And the game's
guess
going to
what?
get so much bigger with the entire Hurston planet and Hurston's 4 moons. And all of Lorville, because Lorville's like a major city.
And that's coming in when?
3.3, so that's October.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it will start the beginning of players being able to be alone.
So
Jump would be nice.
for 3.6, I'm gonna say so we're gonna get a Hurston in 3.3. In 3.4 we're getting ArcCorp. For 3.6, because 3.5 doesn't have any worlds, 3.6 I'm gonna say Microtech or Crusader. Actually, and Crusader. Crusader won't be a big ad because it'll just be the floating platforms. So I'm gonna say I would love it if they could finish Stanton in 3.6. That's my wish.
So originally 4.0 more or less.
Yeah,
Wasn't-
except they said 4.0 would be when they have jump points in and they have another system to go to.
Okay. So a step before.
Yeah. So I would say Crusader needs to be in, and then Microtech needs to be in, and then they have to finish off like all the asteroid belts and the little worlds if there are any, and all that good stuff.
But one question: before when 4.0 comes, and we have multiple systems, will Stanton be still the same? Because I had a feeling because they put everything into Stanton.
The only thing
and
that'll
that
change
stuff.
is if one of the new systems is Nyx, Delamar will move to Nyx because that's where it actually exists in the game. Delamar is sort of a world out of space-time. It's not supposed to be where it is. It will be the main area in the system of Nyx. So that'll be the only thing that really changes in Stanton. So we'll lose. Brain is failing me here. Levski. We'll lose Levski and Delamar to the Nyx system. But that's it. And guess what, folks?
You didn't have to sing.
I didn't have to sing, and we made it to the end of the show. And this is all for today. Thank you very, 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 very much for joining us so early today. I know you're all probably still asleep and hearing me in your dreams.
See, everyone can watch it on VOD later.
That's right. And I even remembered to record. Amazing. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we leave, I just wanted to quickly ask, Shiver, what do you have this week, and where can we find you?
I've got regular Dead Air coming up on Wednesday on the base.sc. The Twitch is still down, but you can listen on the Shoutcast, and we'll have a chat on the Twitch channel. That's about it for me.
And Heremus?
There's nothing going on for me, but you can find me on the Stockholm buses and somewhere time this year.
And Stormy, how can we find you?
Around. I'll listen to Dead Air on Wednesday.
You should have
going
done the
movie night
around the
You don't
verse.
want to do that.
I always like the little message I get from Shiver on Wednesdays. It's Wednesday. Dead Air's in like 30 minutes.
I mean, in fairness, you sent me this message. Oh, I want to listen to some music on YouTube.
I do.
Can you send me a link? And I'm like, oh, I'm doing Dead Air.
And I do listen.
You do.
It's just usually every other Wednesday I'm getting ready for work, and pretty soon I got a new job, so pretty soon I'm gonna be working through Dead Air, and it's not. Yeah, sadly.
Oh, we're all working through Dead Air, Stormy. We're all working through it.
Fastcard's a jerk.
That just made me think of a Chain Gang song. Just, I don't know why. Why? What did Fastcard say?
He told me, Nehkara, you went through the whole show muted. We couldn't hear you.
I don't think so.
And it actually made me go check OBS because I was like, really?
Oh, I think they would have said
Relay?
something before now.
Relay? All right, folks. Have a fantastic weekend. We're out of here. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.